of the tournament. Here is Dr. Bucky, even using the new Phantom Aces profile pictures. Do you see he got his name on his neck? Ain't that grand?
Favorite for this year's
Here's Bucky.
championship is probably Focus. In my opinion, he's in excellent form last few months. So my prediction would be Happy versus Focus in the finals. My favorite series are the best of fives against Sock in the lower bracket, because my lame style with ORC can really shine versus his fast expansion play. I feel like the game is very balanced right now, maybe the best balance in years even. However, I still think that Human and Undead are the strongest right now. I chose my nickname from Battlestar Galactica TV show. Starbuck was one of the main characters of the show. I never really had an idol in Warcraft 3, but I always enjoyed watching Grubby's stream and learning his thought process in the game. So I analyzed Sock's replays and devised a game plan for the lower bracket best of 5 match. I wrote the general game plan, beginning creep routes and strategy for each map, because in Human vs Orc the preparation is essential, because Human has so many possibilities and strategic openings, so knowing how your opponent likes to play is very important.
That's right. That's 100% correct. Good analysis, Bucky. Didn't know it's coming from Battlestar Galactica. Good show. Oh, here's Labby.
Are we jumping right into the next one? Yeah, I was kind of surprised. Didn't you watch that show? How did you not know this?
Yeah, I thought he likes coffee and forgot an S.
That would be the dumbest choice ever. We're gonna hear from Labby in a moment.
저는
Let's see what he has to
이번
say.
TP 리그 시즌 파이널에 진출하게 된 언데드 플레이어 라비린스라고 합니다. 우선 첫 번째 질문이 우승 후보 물어보셨는데요. 저는 조금 뻔한 답변이기는 한데 해피 선수 뽑고 싶고요. 이유는 딱히 설명 안 드려도 될 것 같고, 다만 이제 제가 해피 선수 팬이기 때문에 뽑은 게 가장 큽니다. 두 번째 질문 같은 경우에는 저하고는 조금 살짝 안 맞는 질문인 것 같기는 한데, 왜냐하면 저는 이제 4달간의 대회 중에서 마지막 달만 참가했어서 솔직히 딱히 그렇게 인상 깊거나 했던 경기는 없습니다. 하고 세 번째 질문은 좀 민감할 수도 있는 질문인데, 이번 패치에서는 휴먼이 조금 센 것 같기는 한데, 이게 휴먼 선수들이 아직 대회에서 그렇게까지 강한 모습을 보여주고 있지는 못해서 아직 좀 더 지켜봐야 된다고 생각을 하고요. 다만 저는 이제 늘 언데드가 제일 약한 종족이다, 진짜 늘 이렇게 생각을 해왔기 때문에 좀 언데드들을 좀 이제는 좀 버프를 했으면 좋겠다라는 생각을 합니다. 자, 언데드 같은 경우에는 해피 120처럼 해야 본전이고, 이제 저처럼 하면은 진짜 완전 구린 종족이거든요. 이 중국어로 이게 맞는지 모르겠는데 진짜 완전是垃圾예요. 진짜 쓰레기 종족이에요, 진짜. 이게 언데드가 어떤 종족이냐면, 처음에 강이나 크리처 위치에서 재수없으면 해골 소환을 못하고 시작할 수도 있는 그런 끔찍한 종족이거든요. 그런 의미에서 언데드가 그냥 제일 약하다, 이 말을 하고 싶고요. 이제 네 번째 질문이 제 이제 닉네임을 선택한 이유를 물어보셨는데, 별다른 건 아니고, 제가 이제 프로게이머를 하려고 할 때 이제 닉네임을 하나 정해야 되겠다고 이제 생각을 하던 차에 그냥 TV를 보다가 저 단어가 보여서 그냥 이걸로 정하게 됐습니다. 그 다음 질문은 이제 아마추어 시절의 롤모델 물어보셨는데요.
Just watch TV.
크래프트를 그렇게 뭐 딱히 선수로 하려고 했던 건 아니었기 때문에 워크래프트 선수는 아니고요. 예전에 스타크래프트를 하셨던 이제 판타지 정명훈 선수가 제 롤모델이었습니다. 하고 이제 여섯 번째 질문이 이제 23년도에 게임을 많이 안 했는데 이제 어느 정도의 그 폼이 유지는 되는 것 같다를 질문을 하셨는데, 이거 같은 경우에는 아무래도 아직까지는 제가 워크래프트를 그냥 좀 취미생활 정도로 좀 생각하는 경향이 좀 크기 때문에 그런 게 있는 것 같아요. 왜냐하면 좀 뭔가 이기고 지는 거에 그렇게 별로 그렇게 큰 생각이 없고 그냥 이기면 이기는 값다, 지면 지는 값다 그렇게 생각을 해서 이제 부담이 없다 보니까 좀 그런 것 같고요. 다만 이제 저도 예를 들어서 16강에서 광탈을 너무 많이 했다 싶으면 그래도 한 8강 정도는 가길 레도 좀 생각하면서 해야겠다 약간 그런 거 정도는 있는데 아무래도 이제 폼 유지 비법은 뭐 그냥 부담이 없이 한다 그게 가장 큰 것 같습니다.
Yeah, Mr. Remo Timo, how do you play amateur football? God.
The question is, can I ask a question?
That's almost a Scooter song, dude. Maybe we finally figured out how Scooter is coming up with the lyrics.
Just watch TV and put it all in.
That's right. If I lose, I win. If I win, I lose. Guys, this was a hilarious start into the day. But now it's time for the big boys to play. It's Bucky, it's LabyRinth. It's a best of 3 for the first point in the group stage.
Ooh.
Yo,
boy.
The tension,
Yo, guys.
right?
On our Discord, we have a channel especially for copy pasta. If somebody could gather all these great quotes, that would be amazing. And we have, I hope, many more of these to come.
Oh,
all
boy,
right.
oh boy, oh boy.
All right.
I'm crying, dude.
Let's get a breath here.
Yeah.
Gather our thoughts. Ooh.
Watch some TV and gather
It all in. Do you know that feeling when you laugh and smile too much and then behind your ears your skin starts to become strained?
It's very, very rare that I do this, but yeah. Game, Remo Demo, we have a somewhat of a surprise here as Starbuck is playing Orc, not Human.
Yeah, that's a big surprise to me with how well Human has been doing lately in this matchup. Also, Starbuck has been playing tons of Human, and according to himself, he feels like Human is looking very strong at the moment, apparently stronger than Orc in his eyes. But chooses Orc here still. He's gonna play the Farseer Headhunter build. It is, I would say, definitely a lot easier to execute this rather than a perfect macro game by a Human player. But I think he's more adjusting to his opponent, right? He also mentioned that in the interview. You have to be aware of how your opponent likes to play. And this, to me, looks like he feels that Labby is just worse against Orc.
That is quite a statement, given that he took the WSB championship away from Lin in a tournament with also Focus. So wherever Labby is playing, there's quality Orcs right there. I would be surprised if that is his weakest matchup, but I'm not surprised that Starbuck is embracing the lame. Just like his teammate Soen yesterday, this is Farseer, this is Harass, and it's very, very likely going to be Mass Wyvern.
Yeah, we briefly mentioned the Mass Wyvern before, and indeed Soen was able to make that work quite well before. He's not the first to ever do this. Also, Focus was playing this a good amount, and I think it's a good strategy at the moment with which you can beat almost everybody, with the exception of Happy. I think if the Undead perfectly plays around Mass Air, with Destroyers especially, maybe some upgrades, and importantly an Alchemist third, good early game, good mid game, good creeping, I think the Orc will fall apart late game. But if there's some mistakes, then the Mass Air can punish very well, I would say.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with you 100%. In the ultra late game, you don't stand a chance with the strat anymore unless you expand on the way there. But yeah, the armor upgrades are getting absurd for Undead. Yesterday we've seen 1-0 put Frost armor on top of the natural armor upgrades, and that is then the counter in combination with the strong Coil Nova, of course. But that's a long way until then, and that is the timing window for Starbuck to do damage.
Of course, we're still quite far away from the Wyvern, and right now it's about harassing the DK, slowing down his creeping, ideally also forcing some coils. Look at those wolves being slowed by the Hydra with the Dryad poison. Makes them all of a sudden a lot less scary. But Labby is playing around the last as well. It's full experience so far. And level 2, of course, must be expected on the DK, but Starbuck's job here is to stop level 3.
Okay, not too much damage done here. Couple of coils forced, but there's still some available. Half mana is pretty decent. Almost as if LabyRinth expected this and coming in prepared.
He's waiting for his tier 2 upgrades, so those are going to be huge upgrades indeed. Played this whole game only with the Farseer so far. He's going to have a second hero and Wyvern joining very, very soon. I wonder if there's a small possibility that he's going to go for mass raiders. But against Frenzy Ghouls, that never really seems like the best idea.
Yeah, I'd agree. Also, against Nova, you catch them relatively quickly. Not the easiest here. DK, again, trying to get something done. Oh, the wolf! With the last hit. Nicely done.
Yeah, he also killed a ghoul, and he forced so much mana out of the DK. This is an excellent early game by Starbuck. And Labby slipping a little bit in the early. This wasn't really the best creep route to go for, I would argue. But even if it was, the execution here was not quite flawless. And Starbuck gets into a decent position here as we're moving to the mid game.
Hail Hydra, I'd say. It's a very unique creep to play around, and especially with ghouls, man, they suffer from the poison. Looking good so far for Starbuck, not shaky at all. I think for both players, they are not... I mean, they have been established at the top level of this game, but not at the constant grand final level, so nerves always might come into play.
Starbuck now, interestingly, not looking for a fight as he has Wyvern and Shadowhunter out, which make for a good timing, but he's rather creeping the natural. And I think you're onto something. You mentioned the expansion earlier. This looks very much like an expansion indeed, at a pretty quick timing.
That's right. Yeah, I said this yesterday about Soin. I wondered when he's on tier 3, can't he go for a tiny Great Hall? Because he did so much damage and forced so much rebuilding of acolytes and ghouls, etc. Isn't there a window? Starbuck has a different idea though, expanding on tier 2.
Yeah, and I kind of like this. This comes at a cool timing because the Shadowhunter right now is very strong with Hex, and we're gonna have plenty of Wyvern out very, very soon. I think he's got 3 already, 4th one coming. And honestly, before the Lich is ready, you can't really go for any aggressive play. Now the Lich is here. Look at Starbuck's timing. Once again, fashioning a very cool strategic variety play that not many orcs go for. Starbuck always has his own ideas, always has his own strats, and this also looks like quite the good build. Also, nicely works on Hammerfall, right? Because normally, it's really obvious where your opponent is going to come from with his bridges.
That's right, first fight here, no bats involved, but Hex is Coil Nova, countered by Heal Wave. But, oh, can he save this one? Expensive, trades it for a guard, but that goes LabyRinth way so far. And you need these Wyvern in critical mass, otherwise they're rather weak.
It's always a very tight, balanced walk when you try to go gargoyles to counter the Wyvern. Of course, there's, you know, the bad riders ready and waiting. It was a cute play right there. He used the illusion on the gargoyle to bait the Hex on the fake gargoyle. So that kind of was what landed him that kill there on the Wyvern. But Labby isn't creeping too much. He got the level 3 DK, but the Lich is looking pretty underleveled. However, he has amazing items.
He has amazing items indeed with, oh my god, so much damage. But you were onto something here with your idea of raiders. It's not mass raiders, but it's one. With Ensnare, always reduces number of Gargs, takes scouts away, and of course not only are Wyvern working in critical mass, but also Gargoyles are working in critical mass. Plus you can control the Lich a little bit. This is expensive, and it definitely slows you down in the damage department, but it's a great addition for the Orc army.
Yeah, I like the Raider here a lot. As long as it doesn't get Coil Nova instantly, this is a great addition. You can find pickoffs one at a time with the Ensnare. Starbuck here creeping another camp, could maybe go for a heal scroll as well. Starbuck is very close to double level 3s. Would be a great power spike for him.
That's right, and then he doesn't want to fight just yet. I think without Envenomed Spears, that's almost impossible. So he has to tech at some point, right? Or is he trying to brute force this at tier 2?
I think if you got the 2-base advantage, you might also be able to win without Envenomed Spears. But you need perhaps more than Wyvern, Kodos, Raiders. But now it's about buying time, I think. He got the double level 3s, and he can go for the counter attack. Oh, there's no TP even on Labby. Labby sold the TP early game, inspired by Happy, as so many are. But there's a downside to it.
Well, you can't get home when you want to, but he has a Spirit Tower prepared, he has a Narrow Tower prepared, he is ready for this flyby, and he's also not too far away. Similar to the other undead, he puts his orb on the DK, so he's able to attack air as well. Lich is going 1-0 style Frost Armor and Happy style Alchemist. This is looking a little bit better for Labby than it was 2 minutes ago, and he seems to have a pretty good idea about that expansion as well as the Ghoul Scout at it.
Starbuck could have chosen to go for the counterattack, but didn't. Seems like he feels like he bought enough time. Plenty of Wyvern are now out. But healing is going to be crucially important. We see Heal Wave here. The Nova plus Acid Bomb do so much damage to the Wyvern. There goes one. But Starbuck's defensive setup at the expansion is also looking pretty good if that tower finishes.
Oh, it's close. Here's the attack. Can't repair, of course, while in construction. Has to cancel it. The peons have to do it now. Go into the burrow. They got a Scroll of the Beast on the Ghoul, so this burrow won't last much longer. Great timing by Labby, but can he weather the storm of Starbuck's air army?
Gargoyle taken out right away. There's not many gargoyles at all in this army, only now slowly reinforcing. Bad Riders perhaps a little bit late to the party. Question is, who's going to run out of healing first? And the DK has tons of mana still left. We can see the ghouls still quickly go down. Of course, Wyvern having plenty of damage. Instant on the Destroyer should also mean another kill there. And then Wolves can be used again. Good fight so far by Starbuck, but the undead heroes are the real danger.
That's right, and there's more coils. Alchemist, not too much in the armor department. Can always be knocked down by Wyvern if you're not careful enough. Of course, can't be coiled either. Going to the shop, creeps wake up. Doesn't do the biggest difference as we have another heal scroll, which seems necessary. He's forgetting about the Shadow Hunter a little bit, but that is so crucial now. Heal Wave is amazing on these Wyvern. LabyRinth banging his head against this Orc expansion wall.
Wyvern are going down, man. It's expensive. And at some point, Bucky has to fight these heroes. Sure, he can take out the units over and over, but it's about the heroes in the end. Supply is getting very, very even. The undead hero levels are also rising. Lich close to the level up now. Starbuck TPing, trying to get back to the main, back to the shop. Needs to heal up. Needs to pay attention to these Wyvern.
Couple of rally mistakes here. First the Shadow Hunter on the right-hand side. Now the Wyvern flying into its demise. Mana Potion was essential, but there's only one Hex on the Shadow Hunter. Maybe Clarity is running. Reinforced defense is, of course, amazing for the Peon. And the Peon Micro as well. Labby's still in low supply department, and Starbuck has a chance to hold.
Yeah, especially when the army sizes are so small. Some burrows, some towers can be a huge, huge help. Starbuck now also at less than 50 supply. Is mining a ton of resources. Navi's gonna fall back, creep up a bit more. Thing is, even without an expansion, Navi's getting stronger and stronger thanks to these heroes. If we trade armies, in the end, only the heroes are left, Navi is gonna be way ahead.
Yeah, if the Orc is tier 3 and you put a TC in the mix, I'd say you can discuss what's better, but here in 2 heroes, 3 heroes, clearly an advantage for the undead. Got level 2 Nova now, got Chemical Rage now, big damage increased, and shop access as well for Heal Scroll and Invo Potion. Starbuck hanging on by a thread, but he's hanging.
Yeah, more Bad Riders are now coming. I think that's the right call. Buy time, wait for the bats, blow up the air instantly, and then fight the rest.
Oh, at the moment, yeah, that's a big one here. Can he take out the Destroyer? Acid Bomb, of course, a wonderful damage amplifier. New bats are coming in. Air Army, very, very fragile on both sides. Alchemist about to die, but doesn't. Wyvern taken out. Invo Potion to save the Alch. Now Chemical Rage. Statues have to work overtime. Still a heal scroll. Neck and neck fight between the two.
Starbuck again able to take out a lot of undead units, but it cost him his entire army. The 2 heroes still alive, but Starbuck being only tier 2 needs way more supply than Labby does. Here on tier 3 with all the upgrades available, Labby is super cost efficient as far as his army goes. Starbuck needs to again build a bigger force.
Yeah, these Bad Riders are amazing as long as there's no armor upgrades, as you said, and he can afford it on a working 2 base. But is this really a working 2 base? He constantly has to repair, he constantly has to pull peons away from gold. Doesn't make things easier. But Labby has a tough time cracking this. And as long as there's additional mining, Starbuck still has a chance. Poking, prodding, more Wyvern coming in. The repair is working fine. But only 8 peons out. Acid Bomb helps against them. The Frost Armor addition lately by Undead makes so much sense. I love it. Especially against piercing damage of Wyvern and, of course, against the Bat Rider physical damage.
These items are also going a long way. Imagine if 2 of these 3 items weren't what they are, but rather rings. This would be a way different story. Labby here a little bit lucky with the drops he got earlier, putting them to perfect use. When's next fight gonna break out? Starbuck would love to drag it out as long as possible. It's very hard here to find the correct balance. If you go too heavy on the bats, they might be a bit useless, but if you don't have enough of them, you're gonna be contested too hard in the air. And of course, after Destroyers and Gargs are gone, you still have to fight on with only the Wyvern, without Envenomed Spears. That's the problem here. Envenomed Spears is really lacking. The tier 2 only Orc army is not that scary normally.
Statue Regen did its job. We got a nice Nova countered. Bat Rider coming in, takes care of the Garg. That was a good one. 2 Gargs down immediately, but also on the cost of a Wyvern here. Coil Nova sends its regards.
And of course, getting the kills, but those bats also cost gold every time. Is it the time to engage now? Gets an ensnare on a statue. Starbuck, though, seems a bit uncertain if he wants to engage. He's always getting punished with the acid bomb and the Nova and the coil flies as well. It's going to be another kill again. Almost seems like last-ditch effort for Starbuck.
Yep, that Destroyer is not falling full mana as well. We're jumping a little bit on my stream at least. Here we go. Pressure on the burrow is still up. So far, he couldn't crack this. New bats are coming in. This should be the last Destro. Here we go. Takes out the Garg as well. And all of a sudden, LabyRinth has no army anymore. How fast can Starbuck rebuild? He needs these Wyvern up in the air. Statue taken out. Alchemist level 3. But that's it. He gotta run again.
If you only have this low number of Wyvern, if it's less than, say, 4 in the air, they're not really scary at all against heroes. They might be good against like Destroyers and Gargs, but these heroes are growing, man. Stronger and stronger. Alchemist just got level 3, and DK and Lich are also close to a level up. That's the thing about Wyvern. They call them flying XP tones.
Yeah, on the flip side, you don't get XP for the exploding bats, so it kinda evens out. That's certainly the best thing about bats in this Tucker war. Don't feed the undead heroes too far, but still hard to prevent the high levels when Raiders and Wyvern are constantly falling. So far, Starbuck did a solid job, but he will crumble at some point.
It seems inevitable now. Even if Starbuck can stabilize, get a supply lead again, and force Labby back, the heroes are now so strong, it might just be impossible to take them on. Unless perhaps somehow he finds the hero kill. But that was not at all the case so far. A little bit more creeping. DK and Lich about to get that level up.
Low lumber on Labby's side. Not too many Destroyer morphs, not too many statues, maybe. But the Coil Nova play by Labby is just really, really good. Peons back. Every engagement looks a little bit like a Hail Mary, and then every engagement, Starbuck is getting weaker. Now Coil level 5. That's almost an insta-gip on these Wyvern. Boop.
Oh my god. It's too much. Lich level 4. Hero's too strong. The timing slipped away. Starbuck needed to win this game before this point in time. The Nova now also very scary. Starbuck always able to get a few kills. Level 5 Shadow won't save him. Level 5 Farseer? Can that save him? I don't know, man.
Rough. Really rough. Peons are suffering. We're microing a little bit, but once this burrow is gone, floodgates are open and this expansion will fall. Imagine how this defense looks if the tower finishes, dude. The value would have been insane, but Larry was just 3 seconds too fast.
Yeah, he was fast, but to be honest, that's just Starbuck's mistake. He could have just made that tower earlier. Way earlier. This was a clear mistake by Starbuck this game. Other than that, well played. Early game, I think especially, looked good for him. And I'm not sure. You remember when he was in the middle and he was threatening a counterattack and Labby was chasing after him? And then Starbuck said, okay, now we go to my expansion, we fight there. He could have just gone into the main base. He could have just killed some acolytes, run in. I don't know if he had a speed scroll or not, but even without one, run in, end snare, wyvern, chain lightning, get 2 or 3 acolyte kills, then TP back. Would have bought him more time. Maybe that would have been the better choice, but that's unclear. The clear mistake is, yeah, that tower. Just one tower would have been such a huge asset.
I'm not too sure if the base attack would have done too much. There was a Narrow, there was a Spirit Tower. It would have been expensive as you trade the TP, of course, as well. And how much damage can you do without Envenomed Spears and without a high level Chain Lightning? Could have been an approach for sure. Would it have been super successful? Maybe the biggest point of that attack would have been to pull Labby off the map and back to his home base. Lots of questions, but the answer is Labby played this really well, as if he played against this before, takes the 1-0, and Starbuck is struggling, as he so often does. Like, also in GSL groups, winner bracket runs are rather rare. He thrives when he's under pressure in lower brackets.
Yeah, that was certainly the case in the past, although I wouldn't say this was a weak play at all by him. But normally, the way this works is, if the Orc plays a tier 2 expansion and Undead plays really well against it and micros properly, then Undead should be favored in the end. It feels to me like Starbuck was kind of hoping to cheese his way to victory here against Labby. If he plays human, of course, there's no way you can cheese, unless you get crazy like Jamiko with like some hidden cannon towers, but that is not really reliable. If you just play human, he would have had to play a straight up normal macro game, and of course he likes throwing in those lames every now and then. With Orc, he can also be unpredictable with his strategies. But honestly, I feel like he's going to regret this Orc choice later.
Maybe, but there's also things to change here. This was an expansion play. Maybe take a lesson from your teammate Soin. Play it with a super greedy tier 3. Oi, huge yawn. Labby, aren't you woken up yet after this game? Maybe play it tier 3 a little bit different. Can still expand with the tiny if you do enough damage on the way, or you just play a totally different style.
And there's plenty of things to choose from. You can just go straight into Headhunters on tier 1. Even Blade Master is a possibility, although nobody's playing it right now. We also used to see for a little bit the fast tech into Radar Walker expansion, which was really cool, pioneered by Lin, although that also has been falling by the wayside a little bit. It seems like at the moment, it's all about mass Wyvern or mass Headhunters. And seeing an Oli Barracks here on map 2 looks a lot more like Headhunters.
Okay. That is indeed a very, very different style. And I'm not sure if Labby is gonna expect this to different...
Wait, there's no Warmill yet. Is he playing Farseer Grunt Expo?
No, you can't do that. The game is prohibiting you from playing that opener. I've never seen it.
Yeah, Farseer and Headhunters, they go hand in hand. They are best friends. But Starbuck is foregoing the Headhunters. 2 games in a row, at least so far here on map 1. If you play Farseer Grunts, you save a lot of resources. You don't need a shop, you don't need a war mill. You can go for a second borrow with lots of grunts, creep heavy, and this must be an expansion. Some kind of an expansion, question is just when.
Ooh, okay, of course. If Starbuck loses this game, he's already under pressure, especially if he goes down 0-2 and not 2-1. And then he either has to beat Happy or Colorful or both to stand a chance in the group stage. That is really, really rough, so time to do damage is now.
Starbuck will be sending the Farseer ahead, going to be scouting what's going on, and the Wolves and Grunt back at home are creeping. Checking to see if perhaps the opponent is at the Tuskar, but nobody's there. That is the downside of many Orc builds. Don't have a scout peon. In the first little bit of the game, you're entirely blind.
Yep, we tried to change the balance so that Orc have the opportunity to send out a scout peon, but they got even greedier and built an army faster. Labby is pulling ghouls. Murloc's been taken out. That is not the end of the world if that camp here is missing. Lots of skeletons. And the dance between Farseer and DK starts again.
This was a pretty cool opening. Ooh, nice coil dodge as well. No experience here for the DK. Seemed a bit risky by Labby, long-range coil like that. The nice thing here is the Farseer got 2 green camps, level 1.8 already, and the DK was prevented to get his level 2 from this camp. Has to go for the harder camp now, where Starbuck can harass with the Farseer and the wolf that he now brought over. This is a really cool opening by Starbuck. He's also got a Warmill coming, so we might get some headhunters in here.
Okay, 2 ghouls severely hurt. Gotta be pulled to the side and back home so they can heal on Blight. This slows them down. This makes last hitting harder. It's not that easy here, man. Who has the better right clicks? Wolf taken out. Murloc goes to Labby, and that's level 2.
Starbuck continues brawling here. Wolves in the early game, as we know, are very, very strong summons. But mana's about to run out pretty damn soon. Oh, nice little deny there. But the DK got the level 2. That was most important. But Starbuck is very successful so far in slowing down level 3 at least for the Death Knight, while also having gotten quite a good amount of experiences.
2 grunts into Headhunters it is indeed. And then the question, how do you play this? Tier 3 or is it another Tier 2 expansion? Farseer, you said it has to go back at some point to use a Clarity, but until then, sticks in the north. Labby with the tech slightly behind. We see a TC second and a Beastery plus a Scout taken out for LabyRinth. Can he be aware of what's coming is the question.
Yeah, he saw the shop between natural and main, and that's a very, very strong indicator that it's going to be an expansion. TC second is something that actually we don't see too much of anymore, whether it's Wyvern or Headhunters. Most orcs nowadays focus on tier 3 and focus on the Shadowhunter second. Starbuck here is going to go back to a somewhat more old school playstyle with TC second and mass tier 2. Headhunters, Grunts, Raiders, maybe Wyvern, and then overwhelm with the mass.
He mentioned Grubby in the pre-game interview. This is almost a little reminiscent if you start laming with a lot of Raiders. Ooh, not aiming for the Farseer surround. Could have worked, but I guess the ghoul position wasn't that great. Coil should always be able to secure the kills unless you're getting greedy. But Labby didn't play that way, saving the ghouls. Oh, this one goes down to the creeps, unfortunately, from a Starbuck perspective. But cooldown is off, and that Magi must be going to Labby. Oh, maybe not. This is buying quite some time here.
I think Labby's getting distracted way too much. Why is he attacking the Farseer so much? Just kill the creep, get the item, and back off. This was quite successful. Farseer bought lots of time, also forced lots of mana out of the DK, forced one ghoul to die, and the TC was creeping in the meantime. Great space created, really good early here for Starbuck.
Yeah, and so simple. Just a Farseer across the map, not even Chain Lightning or something. It's unlocked now. DK is close to 3, but isn't 3. And hooray, we get spikes up on the burrows and basically all other buildings. And that also helps when the building isn't finished yet, in case Labby decides to attack this tower and this expo.
Starbuck learned his lesson. Much earlier tower now. That was definitely a big, painful detail on map number 1. Would love to see a burrow there at the expansion as well. Starbuck perhaps should have placed the other burrow, the 4th one, at the expo, but he's going to have a good defensive setup there anyways. Labby knows the expansion is coming, and he's going to try to go for tier 3 timing again, it would seem.
Yeah, ghouls have been overwhelming in this matchup for quite a while. Once they get frenzy, you just send them in masses like Zergs, and at some point they're overwhelming and you can't deal with them anymore. Starbuck has to weather the storm. With the spikes, of course, it's a little easier to hold on to towers and burrows and expansion as a whole. The army will probably suffer, though. Sobi Mask for Labby, also not the worst item there is. Expo at 50%. The clock is ticking.
Good scouting here by Labby with a Skelly. He saw almost everything. He's coming for a creep jack. Thinning out the orc numbers here early on would be quite something. Oh, Farseer eats the Curl Nova and trouble right away. He will have to TP. Hopefully he does it in time. And that he does. Oh, the TC didn't quite get level 3 here. Oh my god, the single Skelly would have done it.
Well, I guess he'll get it eventually. But this is, of course, not the perfect setup for a fight. Labby, no TP, no Invo Potion, no third hero yet. Might play this 2-base or at a Dark Ranger, which is also very good. Kodos are coming, but this army doesn't look threatening at all for Starbuck yet.
Gets a Skelly here. That's level 3. And setting up a second tower. Lots of resource invested into defense. Reinforced defenses and barricades and 2 towers. That's pretty expensive, but it should make for a very safe expansion, especially against ghouls.
And that's the backbone of your strategy then. Just as it was on game 1, but very different and a lot safer. You're also up against a lot of ghouls. That was the case before. Chain Lightning Stomp this time is the weapon. But you got no healing, and that might be a liability down the road.
Very unlucky item here for Starbuck, the Book of the Dead. Terrible against the destroyers. Unless perhaps you can find an unexpected usage of it. Alright. This is gonna be it. The fight for Minas Tirith. Can the undead forces overwhelm or not? Labby again has an opportunity that he doesn't have to win the game right here. If he can trade well, find kills, and level, this Tri-Hero combo again will be very scary late game.
Black Arrow unlocked, Scroll the Beast. Good setup for Labby. But Starbuck is running away in supply numbers. Can he distract a little bit more? Get a little more mining in? And find a solution against these skellies.
Starbuck looking for points of weakness. So far Labby is exposing none of them. Instead, going for the all-in. Labby changes course, going for a sneaky expansion that Starbuck isn't scouting for right now, and in the heat of battle here, rarely anybody ever thinks about.
Lost the Beastery. I like that play by Labby, of course. Why not? He will spend quite some time here. Ghouls are getting caught. 1 taken out, maybe even 2 with the Chain Lightning. TC still full mana. He can choose when to attack. The Spikes did a solid job, but the Shadow Hunter is missing in every second of the fight. Gotta run into the safety of the towers.
That was nicely done by Starbuck. He was waiting for some stragglers, he was waiting for a moment of weakness, and there he found 2 ghouls left behind. Easy kills. Not the end of the world though. 2 ghouls, not so expensive to replace, but still a good little exchange there by Starbuck.
Starbuck got
is he gonna start thinking about the expansion?
Exactly. I was about to ask the same question when I rudely interrupted you. You gotta notice that the pace of the game is changing. Labby is not as aggressive as he was on game 1, and there must be a reason for it, and that reason is growing at the 12 o'clock position.
An advantage here for the DK as well from this creep camp. Starbuck now feels like the army is strong enough, big enough to take a fight. Stomp, Chain Lightning, huge damage at the start. Scroll the Beast being used on the undead. Book of the Dead summoned. Oh, but there's a destroyer right away against it. Dark Ranger will fall though. Coil too late. Bit of mistake by Starbuck. Quickly costly.
Well done so far. Bad Rider still in the air. Wyvern saved across the forest. Lich in trouble. Get saved. Is there a little bit more damage? Yep, to take out the destroyer for a direct trade against the Wyvern, but it's absolutely worth it. Grunts, of course, they paid their dues, and now they're just gonna disappear in no time. Most importantly, on the back of this fight, Starbuck sent the wolf into the north, and he knows what's up.
And there's no full mining there just yet. There's also no towers there just yet. 1 arcane, 1 narrow and 1 spirit tower would be a strong defensive setup, but Labby's pretty broke right now. Starbuck probably feels the urgency. He has to attack, he has to crush the opponent, he has to win this game before the ended expansion pays off too much.
And we're back to mass air. And now it really, really bites him that he lost the 1 Beastery.
Yeah.
Only 1 Beastery production takes forever to rebuild. And this army isn't as strong as it used to be. And there's once again grunts and headhunters coming in, but they're just fodder for the undead.
Ooh, nice illusion play there as well. Ilu, Bad Rider trying to bait a Coil Nova. Not gonna fall for it though. Nope, it's gonna fall for it. Alright, Coil the wrong target. This fight will decide the game. If Labby can hold, he must win.
I agree. Wyvern are disappearing quickly once again. Dark Ranger level 2. Now we got silence and very little dispel. Farseer in trouble. Little bit of healing. Gotta get out. Invo potion. Starbuck wants to stay for as long as possible in this fight, but he has no weapons to work with anymore. LabyRinth with a solid and almost easy hold. And that should be his game. 2-0 then would be a huge move in this group stage. What now, Bucky?
Easy pick of kills now. Supply lead on the undead with a tech lead as well. Of course, everything going Labby's way right now. And that was just a smart counter. You saw how much resources Starbuck invested into defense, invested into the expansion, in towers and everything else. It was like, all right, I guess then we slow this game down and I expand myself. And here in 2-base, Starbuck will have to get very creative to still have a chance.
Yeah, is it time for the lames? Is it time for a switch to... For Raiders, it's too late against this Coil Nova. Mass bats should be easily countered. It's not a good strategy at all. I'm having a tough time seeing a way out, but... Maybe there is a way. Starbuck needs to become a maze runner now.
And with the crystal ball that was just found, he sees the ton of bats, so now Labby can react. Maybe some more towers of the expansion, maybe some fiends. By the way, this crystal ball item, it's pretty good, I noticed, ever since we changed it.
Let's say we changed it. I wonder who came up with that genius idea. I very much like it too. Oh, Dark Ranger.
Carson, I've been told.
Lies, Remo. You're falling for fake news once again.
Well, I don't know. Canadians are very trustworthy normally.
Yeah, but he's from an island. Can he even be considered Canadian?
So? Yeah, Canada is islands. Vancouver Island.
Yeah, that's where he's at. I don't know. It's not really Canada for me. Bats coming in. That's huge. Detonates. Needs to get some follow-ups. The air army for Labby is quickly disappearing, but it's still there. And do these headhunters do enough damage? I wonder. Kodo taken out. Where are the reinforcements? Needs more bats.
Oh, good kills. The Bad Riders connect well, but it's very much the same like game one. In the end, it comes down to heroes versus heroes. And Starbuck has just been outscaled. This strat is not made for the late game. You need to play from ahead. And Labby's so relaxed. Did you see it? He was just yawning right there. He's like, oh, I got this easy. 2-0. Give me those points, baby.
Well, let's see if he'll yawn like that on the second game of the day. That will be up against Happy. Losing another Destro. Always wonder if that opens up a timing to use the wolves better, but there's barely anything to attack, and whatever you click is falling.
And Starbuck's also very mana reliant. And he is the race. He's playing the race that doesn't have statues. And the mana reliant, of course, I mean, once the TC is out of mana and the Farseer is out of mana, it is so easy to just out-micro this Orc army. Everything is speaking against Starbuck here.
Yeah. Whew, and of course the 0-2 is not the best situation for Starbuck's map score, which might come into play in a competitive group like this. Shop control with the TC, beats a Coil Nova, that's fine, he's a tanky boy. Maybe one more attack, maybe one more fight, it's 50-50, and the TC is 5.
Alright, TC5 is a great level up, especially when you have a lot of follow-up damage to put in with the Stomp. Is that the case? Unclear. Farseer with Wolves and Chain Lightning here will have to come in to do the deed. But how is he going to kill these heroes, really? He's got Raiders and Wyvern and Bats. None of this kills heroes.
Yeah, that is one of the problems. LabyRinth army is also getting strong. More production buildings, more shop, more Gargs, more statues, more everything. And the inventory is still looking fantastic. Lich damage, great. DK with the Sobi mask, can't argue with that. And the Dark Ranger is level 3 already as well. Checkmate, Bucky.
Maybe if you can hit Lich and DK at the same time with the same Stomp, Chain Lightning, Focus Fire, kill the Lich. That's like the only way. He can't kill the DK because there's a TP. He can kill the Dark Ranger, but it wouldn't matter. He has to kill the Lich and then hope for the best.
Labby's movement seems really good. Forcing fights when he feels ahead. Now forcing Starbuck into unfavorable position. Getting shop control as well. This is a strong Labby showing up here today. Barely any flaws. Good execution. Good timings. Good strategic thinking. He's a threat to everyone.
I think Starbuck's refusal to go tier 3 here is his biggest mistake. And I would honestly also say not choosing human may have also been a mistake. Although, of course, you have to, as a player, trust your gut, go with your instincts. And today, he felt like he was going to have a better chance with Orc, which he may have been wrong.
Maybe he wants to save his human strategies for the game against Happy. Maybe he was inspired by Soen yesterday. This is a solid attack, forcing a TP now. Speed scroll out. This is a good value. But how many bats are that? That's 10 bats.
Oh, let's go! Justify the means, baby. You should have some bats in the air. Can you take out all the destroyers? It's so many. I just don't think it's enough. There we go. Hits the stomp. Goes for the Lich. Trying to get the kill. That was the one chance. Didn't work out.
I think it's over, dude. The bats are all gone. There's still air up for LabyRinth. The Hail Mary didn't work out, and there is barely anything left for Starbuck to work with. 2 grunts, 2 bats, and the 2 heroes. That's not enough when you fight against this undead army. And 1,000 gold bank. Very economical play by LabyRinth as well. Never breaking too easy into upkeep. And Starbuck, he's trying absolutely everything. With Invis Wolves onto Acolytes. We had Invis Potions there as well. But in the end, it doesn't even matter.
Alright, take the Dark Ranger. Get her to the marketplace. Buy all the agi items that there are, buddy. I want to see it. Let's go. You got so much gold. Your heroes are unbeatable. Wait, did you just buy the Ancient Django? No, I guess he found it. Yeah, but 5, 4, 3 hero levels with an expansion. That's pretty much all you need to know.
Yeah, I agree. We get Shades as well against Invis Wolves, so laming with them is also getting harder when the base is about to be walled off. We feel like there's no way out. Labby wants to expand again. Quickly discovered. Bad Riders, yeah, they have siege damage, but not that much damage. And of course, Burning Oil, Liquid Fire is not available. Are the bats justifying the means now? Again, questionable.
Oh, catches the Lich. Is this the opportunity? He's just so hard to kill. And again, like, if you have follow-up damage for the Stomp, it's good, but there's just no damage.
There is
just no damage.
Chain Lightning level 2. Maybe bats should be able to explode on the ground. Kamikaze.
And do bonus damage against heroes, yeah.
It's a great idea. Oh, good dodge. Absolutely necessary. Stomp again, but DK is also so tanky with that ring, with that circlet, with frost armor applied. And this is where the undead feels most comfortable in Coiled Nova territory. It doesn't have the range.
Come on, marketplace. Yeah. Now's the time, buddy. Kaga's pipe. Let's go.
I don't think he's following your plan so far, but yeah, I just noticed how comfortable we are here at the caster's desk, right? Yesterday I said, wouldn't this work better with an expansion? And here we are with Starbuck playing this Wyvern style with an expansion, and here we are saying, wouldn't this work better with tier 3? Grass is always greener on the other side.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's easy to criticize until finally someone makes it work. Although, at the moment, in the most recent games, it seems like indeed Tier 2 only has had a very tough time trying to make it work against Undead. The downside here is, even if you do manage to be one base ahead, even if you do trade decently well, what do you do once the Undead gets 5/4/4 heroes? Don't you just lose anyways?
You tap out.
Well,
You gotta break
there.
him before, like Soen did yesterday. Like Soen, his attacks into the undead bases were tremendous. So many kills. We haven't seen this from Starbuck once, and that was the backbone of the Wyvern strat.
Has he got level 6? That's kind of neat. Taking out lots of towers here. Starbuck is laming this pretty well, I'll say.
Dude, if he wins this map and we eat our words, is there a world where he wins this? I mean, level 6 TC, maybe even Shockwave if he can afford it? There's not much gold left though.
Yeah, there's a timer on him.
If only you were T3 and could go for a tiny now, eh?
Yeah, it's a big advantage here of LabyRinth. He expanded way later. He's gonna have gold for way longer. On Northern Isles, there's not much gold in the naturals, so Starbuck's Expo is running out soon. We can see it up there in the overlay. About 1,000 gold left only. Trying again for the Lich, but he's got so much time to just chill out. There's the coil.
Bats are going for the gold mine, but their damage is not big enough. Need it now in the fight against the Destro. One is still alive. DK at 50% carries the town portal. He's trying to go for hero focus. Dodges the coil again. Those micro moves are pretty good by Starbuck. Here's the nuke trying to, but the coil is always there when you need it.
And this is the rest melting away for Starbuck. He came into the day with lots of hopes, but he has a GG out now, and Labby will take the 2-0. The Orc choice and the, I guess, curveball didn't work out.
Disappointment clearly visible on Starbuck's face. This series didn't work out as